Alright, hey everybody. We are going to make eggs Benedict today. We're going to do something a little special. We're going to infuse our hollandaise with a little white truffle oil. And we're just going to try and kind of keep it simple. You know, nothing too crazy, nothing out of this world tonight. It's been kind of a long week, so we're going to kind of try and take it easy a little tonight. And I'm kind of feeling like having cookies tonight, so we might make some cookies tonight too. Of course, the first ingredient in Eggs Benedict is eggs. So what we're going to do, we kind of have things set up here. I have a double boiler set up here with not the most ideal metal pot, but that's all right. I have my butter. This is actually dairy-free butter, so I'm going to kind of run you through the process of how to do that. And then I just have my poaching water over here. I'm going to turn that on medium. And when you're poaching eggs, you want to use, really you want to use white vinegar. Of course, that's the one thing I forgot at the store this afternoon. So I am using some apple cider vinegar. But whenever you're poaching eggs, you want a little bit of vinegar in there. So I'm just going to put a cap full in there. Call it a day with that. We're going to start doing what is called clarifying butter. We're going to separate the milk solids out of the butter, and we're just going to use the oil that's left back behind there. So to make a hollandaise, which is the sauce that goes over, it's really easy. The base is obviously egg yolk, butter, little lemon juice. I like to add a little bit of vinegar in there for a bite, so I'm going to add a little bit more apple cider vinegar and some Tabasco, and then some white truffle oil for flavor. We're just going to cut into our lemon. We got this handy, it's a reamer and juice catcher handy, so we're only going to use half the lemon. We're just going to kind of get all of our pots and pans rolling. And as you can see, once you're done reaming, you got all your juice. Super handy. Let's go ahead and we're going to separate some eggs from some whites and yolks. We're going to go ahead and glove up for that. Now I got my two containers here. I'm going to put yolks in one and whites in the other. How's everybody's week been? Slow week, busy week, fun week, exciting week, shitty week. And we only need, we'll do 5 yolks just for good measure. What's up, Rename Card? It's been a good week. It's been a kind of a crazy week. I actually got a promotion at work. So not bad, but definitely going to add a little more responsibility and all that fun stuff. So as you can see, I'm using a butter substitute, but it kind of, real butter does the same basic thing. You get the white bubbles, and what that is what would be the milk solids, and you would want to separate and skim that stuff out. So we're just very lightly, we're not going to really dip, we're just going to kind of push, because we don't want to lose any of the good stuff. We're just going to skim that stuff off. Thank you. Yeah, it's kind of crazy, I just started there 2 months ago, and I'm already up, so that's kind of a nice feeling. Now with the butter substitute, it obviously it's not butter. It acts close to what butter does, but not quite 100%. So usually once you're done clarifying your butter, what we're going to do is we're just going to pull it off and kind of let it set at room temp. You don't want it too hot because you're going to emulsify it with the eggs. And I could not find gluten-free English muffins anywhere, so here's a quick hack. I'm just going to take a couple pieces of gluten-free bread. I'm going to turn the volume off on my computer. So I'm just going to take a couple pieces of bread here, and I'm going to grab I thought I had already grabbed it. What did I do with that damn thing? I'm just all sorts of kerfuffled today. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the ring off a mason jar and just kind of make a faux English muffin out of that. And then there you go. You got 2 gluten-free English muffins. Okay, so we're going to throw a little oil on our cast iron here. Remember, like I said, I'm using grapeseed oil. It has a higher flash point, so it doesn't smoke as much. We're going to open a window in here. I have no hood vent, so everything gets super crazy super fast. So what I'm going to start doing is I'm just going to go ahead and start whipping up my egg yolks. Get those nice and emulsified, all blended together. I'm going to add just a touch of the truffle oil, because the truffle is a very, very pungent, strong flavor. I'm going to add just a dash of vinegar, like drops. Lemon juice. Like I said, not even using the whole half of the lemon, juice-wise. And my whole goal here is we're making kind of a thinner, maybe we'll use the whole one. We're thinning out the egg yolk a little bit. And then we're going to bring this over to the double boiler and just kind of let that sit, because we're getting ahead of ourselves. So the other thing we're doing tonight is we're going to make some homemade hash browns. And what I did, so before stream, I baked off sweet potato and a couple russets. I baked off a sweet potato and some russets and put them in the fridge to cool. So I'm going to cut these in half now. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these to a cheese grater. I put them in the fridge to cool them down so they weren't so hot. And now I'm just going to grate the potato off the skin. I'm going to do the same with the sweet potato. We're going to grate it right off the skin. Sweet potato is a little harder because it's a little gooier. It's kind of got a mind of its own as to what it's going to do. And now the trick to this is to try and not cook them all the way, and to try and kind of make them al dente as much as possible. Like almost cooked all the way, but not quite cooked all the way, just so they're a little firm. All right, nice. Our poaching water, we don't necessarily want it to be boiling. We just want it nice and warm, nice and hot. As you can tell, by grating them, we've kind of created that shredded hash brown effect. And we're just going to kind of hand mix these in. It works better if they're a little cooler, but I think we'll be all right. We're just going to kind of pat that out. We don't want them too thick, because otherwise it's going to take a long time for them to cook up. We're just going to set those right down on there. I bake them in the oven because you don't necessarily want to boil them, because if you boil them you lose a lot of the starch, and that's kind of, you know, you want it, especially when you're making hash browns, you kind of want to keep the starch. You don't want to lose too much of that. Plus it's a little bit easier to deal with if you leave them whole. Like, I just rubbed them down with some oil, salt, pepper, and then put them in the fridge to cool them down. And then once they're cooled all the way, it's obviously really easy to handle them. And then just cut them in half, and then skin side against your hand, just kind of go against the cheese grater and let it, you know, just shred everything that way. Alright, so now we got those down. We're going to give our cutting board a quick wipe real quick. I'm going to go ahead and toast these English muffins real quick. Because I don't have a toaster. We're going to hit our potatoes, a little salt, and I gotta figure out where I put my pepper. Alright, forget pepper. Who needs pepper? A little fresh cracked pepper on there. Never hurt anyone. We're going to hit our pan with a little more oil. Alright, hash browns are going. Everything's going. We're going to set up our double boiler. We're going to take those egg yolks, those are getting ready, and then we're going to bring our butter over here. This is kind of a tricky part, because we're going to, by doing this over a double boiler, we're cooking the egg, but we're not cooking it to completion. We're just, you see how it's kind of runny right now? We're going to kind of cook it till it thickens up a little bit. And then once it thickens up, we're gonna pull it off the heat, and we're gonna start adding our butter. And the butter will thicken it up even more. And so we're essentially we're making like kind of a dressing. We're emulsifying the oil with the protein. Except for it's a delicious egg sauce. Yes, that is a cast iron skillet. I've found myself, I've been more drawn to cast iron the more and more I cook with it. It's just super easy to work with. We can give these a little flip real quick. Try and get it crisp all around. Fun drop spatulas. Man, I am off my game tonight. Also, you don't want to let this just sit, because it will just scramble the eggs. You have to really, it's one of those things you can't really walk away from this part of it. You have to really hold it down. You have to just keep working it. Now, as you can tell, everything's kind of watery right now. Not a whole lot of solidity to it. And we're just gonna keep working this until we see it start to thicken up. Kind of maintain temp control on everything. Reach an arm out every now and again. Renee Carr, did you hit up TwitchCon this week? Are you down in LA with all the other cool kids? Or are you just kicking it at home? Alright, we're starting to get somewhere with our egg. See, it's starting to thicken up there. That's exactly what we're looking for. Another few seconds and we're going to call it on this. Alrighty. So now we're going to pull that off the heat. And we're just going to add a little bit of butter at a time. We want to make sure that we get it all emulsified in there. At home, but just kicking it, watching a lot of it. Yeah, I'm really terrible. I haven't watched any of it. I've seen some of JL and Lindsay's pictures, and that's about all I've done. So you see, see how it looks kind of greasy in there? Nothing's really together. You just keep whipping until all of that stuff is incorporated into your hollandaise. Now this is one of those sauces where a lot of people don't like it because it will break on you. And what I mean by break is it will separate. It'll kind of detach itself from like your butter and your egg will separate, and then you just have this greasy mess. And nobody likes that. Also, this making hollandaise will totally strengthen your arms because it's one of those things, once you start, you don't stop whipping whatsoever. Alright, now as you can see, we've made this kind of it's a thicker sauce, and what we're going to do is I'm just going to hit this with another splash, just like very minuscule splash of truffle oil. And I'm not going to lie, I don't know why, but every time I do this, it works for me. It doesn't break on me. I'm just going to hit it with a little splash of water. I know some people will speak out against that, but once you get everything emulsified and everything, I've found that if you hit it with just a little splash of water, it'll kind of help keep everything together. And now we have hollandaise. We're going to hit this with a pinch of salt for seasoning. And then, like I said, I like to hit mine with a little Tabasco. had the Tabasco out. Yeah, forearms of steel, man. Like it seriously, the struggle is real. It's no joke. All right, now we're gonna give this a little taste test. It's tasting really good. It does need a little more salt though. And I want some more of that skunkiness from the white truffle oil. If you've never had white truffle or like flavored anything, white truffle oil, white, black truffle oil, or had truffle, just straight fresh shaved truffle, you don't really know until you get that taste. It's really pungent. It's really just, it's its own flavor. I can't really describe it. It's got a skunky, just uber fragrant flavor and smell. Right on. I think we're spot on with that. So I'm just gonna kind of set this on the stovetop. I got the oven on, so everything's staying warm. So I'm just gonna leave that right there for now. I'm going to pull my toast out of the oven. Just kind of set this off to the side for now. Give these hash browns another flip. Kind of let these keep cooking down. I have these cooking on lower heat, so you can kind of let them hang out, not do a whole lot. They'll get nice and brown if you just kind of let them sit there, hang out for a minute. Now what I got here is just some sliced ham. I didn't necessarily want to cook anything up myself or pull anything up myself, but this is kind of the more traditional method of making eggs Benny. Let me kick the heat up on that a little bit. I'm just going to drop these in there. Heat them up. Grab my muffins, get those on a plate. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some spinach. Give this a quick rinse real quick. Get that nice and clean. Make sure to always wash and rinse your fruits and veggies. I'm just going to hit some of this leftover butter in parentheses, on this pan. Just kind of let it cook down, get all nice and delicious. Not quite there yet. We're going to kick the heat up on that a little bit. So now while we got our ham heating up, we're going to go ahead and just give this a stir real quick, make sure everything's good with that. I like to make my hollandaise a little bit thicker, because that way when it hits the egg, it doesn't just run right off it. It kind of stays on top. And what we're going to do here is we're going to grab our slotted spoon. Slotted spoon works best for this. We're going to go ahead and give our water. This is our poaching water. And like I said, we put a cap of vinegar in here earlier. Just a cap full. We're going to kind of get a vortex going. Crack one egg in. Crack another one in. And then just very gently with the rubber spat. Be careful not to break your egg or eggs. I'm just going to keep that circular motion going. Alright, ham's starting to cook down. We want to get a little bit of caramelization on this ham. Just a little, a little brown on there. Tastes way better that way to me. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to throw some spinach in that pan and just let it kind of sweat down, let it reduce. Now while we're waiting for everything else to finish up, I'm going to run and grab some chives. Alright, now what I got here is just some fresh chive. I'm just going to cut the little ends off and then just very carefully dice. Bonjour. DT, I do not speak French at all. I'm sorry. I'm absolutely terrible at French. and do not speak a lick of it. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull get rid of some of that spinach. I'm going to lay our ham steaks on there, but then with this spinach, throw a little bit on there, throw a little bit on here. Ditchery, again, I'm sorry. I am a lame ass American and I only speak English. I would absolutely love to learn French, but it just seems like that's out of reach at the moment. No, I do. Alright. Now, the thing about poached eggs is they cook really fast. And what we're looking for is, you see how this is bouncy? There's still yolk in there. That's exactly what we're looking for. And what I did with the spinach is I made a little nest for our egg to sit and hopefully not move. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my sauce spoon and just very gently, I'm going to lay that hollandaise over the tops of these eggs. So that you see what I mean when I lay it on, it doesn't just run right off, it actually stays on the egg. That's kind of why I like to make a thicker hollandaise. And then we're just going to top that with some of our fresh cut chive. And we're just going to pick up, yeah, you see, nice, just kind of golden brown, nice crisp. We're just going to lay some of that sweet potato hash right on the plate right there. And then boom. That's a nice breakfast if you ask me. That's a real nice breakfast. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to make myself one. I don't necessarily want to break into Cakes' dinner. Just going to hit this pan with a little bit of that butter. Now I'm going to go ahead and start another egg. In our poaching water. Like I said, just kind of get like a vortex going. So when you drop your egg in, it doesn't just sink and sit to the bottom. said, I'm going to grab another handful of spinach, give it a quick rinse. Drop that spinach in there with it. I'm going to grab another plate and pop down. Now this one's for me. So that is a sourdough English muffin. Good night, Renamed Card. It was good having you. Hi, Yuki. Yes, I think I'm gonna go ahead and make cookies tonight. I've kind of been craving cookies, and I kind of want cookies, so I might just go ahead and make cookies. We're gonna kill the heat on that. How's our poached egg doing? Still needs another minute. That's fine. Go ahead and pick up our piece of ham. We're going to set that right there. And then I'm going to take some of the spinach, get it over there. On that. Because like I said, the whole point of the spinach is to just kind of make a nest. It looks nice, you know, it's good for you, and it makes it so your egg just doesn't want to fall off. I'm going to go ahead and hit myself with some of this sweet potato hash. Check this egg again. Alright, that's pretty much what we're looking for. You see how it's still jiggly, not too much, still pretty firm to the touch. That is exactly what you want in a poached egg. I'm going to come over here, load myself up with some hollandaise, just and then some fresh chive on top of that. Yeah, Uncle Stinky, I am the fried chicken guy. How did that fryer turn out? Did you get it? I know you ordered it, but did you get it? Alright, so now we're going to take our fork, and just to kind of show you what we're looking for, we're going to go cut right into that egg, and then boom, just got luscious yolk. Yeah, I used my hands, so what? Alright, that is not bad. You know, this is one of those things. Eggs Benny's not my favorite, but it's one of those ones everybody loves Eggs Benedict for the most part. You know, everybody loves brunch food. So this was just kind of a rundown on how you could make your brunch, and or if, you know, you're hanging out at home with the kids or something like that, you know. Just kind of a nice deviation from scrambled eggs and bacon. Yeah, you got the fryer, haven't used it yet? Oh, come on, man. You know you want to. You know you want to use it. Alright, I'm going to eat some of these sweet potato hash browns. Oh man, those are good. Okay, that definitely doesn't suck. That was really good. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to do a quick cleanup. I'm going to do a quick cleanup of the kitchen while we transition into cookie making. Yeah, definitely being sober when you're messing around with hot oil is definitely a good thing. Definitely a good thing. So like I said, I'm just doing a quick cleanup real quick, kind of clear space. I'm going to kind of eat off to the side every now and again, just so I can kind of finish eating my dinner and while preparing for cookies. Cookie stream. Uncle Stinky, I do agree with you. Smoked salmon is definitely the way to go. I like fresh smoked salmon though. Like I'm picky. I grew up on the coast, and so I don't necessarily like eating seafood when I'm not close to the ocean. But yes, I agree. Smoked salmon, Benny, is definitely the way to go when you can. We're just going to give this a quick wipe down. Now I already have my oven preheated to 350. And pull out the cookie sheet. Now I'm going to kind of cheat here. I'm going to use my awesome, oh, it's the fresh stuff, not the super smoked fish. Yeah, like super fresh is the way it's got to be. So for making cookies, I'm actually, like I said, I'm going to use my new toy. I enjoy using this thing. It makes my life so much easier. I got the Ninja with the batter blades on it. It's great for making doughs and stuff like that. So we're gonna do a half cup butter, and this is actually our dairy substitute butter. We're going to do a half cup white sugar. Might as well just grab all this stuff down while we're talking about it. Oh, getting into that cupboard is kind of difficult when you got the stream going on. All right, so the trick to baking cookies is you always cream the sugar and sugar and butter together first. So we need a half cup. This is a full cup, but it has a half cup measure inside it. It's kind of riveted out in the bottom so you can tell which is which. So half cup white sugar. I'm actually making, I'm going to make some dairy-free, gluten-free chocolate chip cookies. And then I'm going to make some just regular, standard oatmeal cookies. Because that's my favorite. But I can't make cookies and then not make cookies for cakes. It's just not fair. That's not how that works. If I tried to do that, she would probably hurt me. Not really, but it's just, it's a very nice thing to do. I mean, if I'm gonna make myself something, it's nice to, you know, make something that she can have as well. All right, half cup brown sugar. Then we're just gonna pop that open. Oatmeal cookies with icing? Hell yeah. No, I'm not even gonna lie, Yuki. I love cookie dough. I don't even. It's not even that I necessarily like cookies. I just love cookie dough. So what I'm gonna do is make cakes, cookies, and then I'm basically really just gonna make myself cookie dough. So I'm gonna hit this with a little bit of oil. Kind of give this a rub down for some non-stickery. Alright, now we're going to hit this with an egg. I love cookies and cookie dough. Yeah, I mean, if the cookies are cooked right, if they're like nice and like gooey, then yeah, I'll get down on them. But a lot of people cook just like straight cooking, like dipping cookies, and that's not great all the time. I need a teaspoon of vanilla. And we're just gonna let all that stuff go together. Alrighty, so what we're gonna do now, I agree with you 100%, Yuki, no raisins. Raisins have absolutely zero business being in a cookie. Zero business. Now what I'm doing is I'm just dissolving the baking soda in the water. And then I'm going to add that to my mix. Now we're going to hit this with a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And 1 cup of our gluten-free flour. Now the key is, I would also have to agree with you on that, Yuki. I am not a fan of raisins whatsoever. I don't like raisins, period. So now we got a cup and a half of flour in there. Now what I'm using is, they're kind of very special chocolate chips. They are pretty much straight cacao. Peanut, nut, dairy, soy, egg, wheat, and gluten-free. So this specific brand of chocolate chip kind of owns the allergy ring, and I like using them because they taste really good. Perfect. Weed chips? No, I don't live in Washington, Stinky. That shit ain't illegal here. And actually, I think that might violate Twitch TOS, even if you did live somewhere where it was legal. Not that I'm against it. I mean, especially for a lot of people, it's, you know, medicinal. You know, there's a reason why, you know, for years and years and years it's been given to cancer patients. You know, it does help. You know, and I do believe 100% it's safer than alcohol. But unfortunately, in Montana, alcohol is legal. That isn't. So. No apology necessary, Stinky. Like I said, you know, like I'm a proponent for it. Like the you know, it is. I feel like it's way safer than alcohol. You know, we can get drunk, and you know, we can go out to bars and get drunk, but you know, we can't kick it at home and, you know, do a little bit of that. Like that, it seems a little oxymoronic to me, but whatever. And I'm just giving this a quick rinse because, like I said, we're gonna make some normal cookies as well. And I'm just gonna drop some batter, drop some more batter. I'm not worried about making perfect cookies. All right, we're gonna go give this a rinse real quick. come back to... The trick is, if you let things dry out, then they're way harder to wash. But if you rinse them off right away, they usually... everything will come out a little bit easier. Is the Ninja... So, I will say this. For making doughs and stuff like that, yeah, I mean, it's proving to be a very good alternative. I do have just a good old KitchenAid. I still love it. The only thing that I don't think that this Ninja can do is, like, you know, make like a meringue. Or like... I don't know how good it is for like doing like whipped cream or anything like that. I don't think it's capable of doing that. But for me, it was one of those things where I wanted a blender slash food processor slash, you know, this thing has its own smoothie cups. So it was just kind of one of those things where it was kind of an all-in-one system, and I wanted to see how that worked. And it's working out great. Mugiwara, these are gluten-free, dairy-free cookies that are going in the oven right now. Yuki, it would be awesome if you lived closer. And I would totally let you be the cookie taste tester. Anytime. Yeah, I wanted the Ninja. I've been wanting to try this because I bought the little baby food processor Ninja. Like, I bought one of those for like $20 like 6 years ago, and that thing is still kicking ass. So I just wanted to check, you know, they have, you know, what they call the mega kitchen system, and it comes with, like, you know, this dough bowl and dough paddles, and it also has, you know, a real blade attachment for it. But it has like a full-size blender and all that. Moogie, you did miss the eggs, Benny. That actually went really quick. But you can always go back and watch. You can always go back and watch the VODs. Yuki. Yeah, have you ever been to Montana, Yuki? Yeah, it's actually it's pretty awesome, Moogie, because the very first stream I did, I forgot to click save VOD, and I forgot to even just record it on my own computer, and I felt like the biggest dumbass. Let's set our kitchen timer for another 5 minutes. And then the other key to baking cookies is you don't bake them all the time on one side. You know, like, you don't just put them in and bake them to completion. Like, halfway through, you pull them out, you rotate them. Gluten-free, dairy-free cookies, how does that work? there's a lot of substitutes out there now. You know, they're getting really good with AP flour blends that are gluten free that really make it a lot easier. It's just a matter of like watching your ingredients and keeping an eye on like what you're doing. And you know, like I said, the chocolate chips that I was using, they're actually like legit real chocolate. They're not milk chocolate or anything like that, so they have a way better flavor in my opinion. Am I a chef? I used to be. I just left the industry this year. I just got kind of sick of the daily grind and, you know, just always being tired, always having to be available, always, you know, just doing, you know, I just got burnt out. You know, I was in the industry for almost a decade and, you know, I just kind of got sick of it. And I mean, I still like cooking and I still love cooking. And this is kind of something I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to kind of just do like a real simple cooking stream just to kind of show people like, hey, this is actually super easy and you can do this really easily at home. So, I mean, I'm kind of starting to do that. This is actually only my 4th stream. Like I said, I totally forgot to record my 1st stream. So, but, so, like I said, you know, if you have any questions cooking-wise, let me know. Right now I'm doing this once a week to try and, you know, really just kind of get my footing, figure things out. Work my new job. I'm working completely out of kitchens now. I'm just trying to take some time for me and not really try to push myself into doing anything, just so I can kind of enjoy myself a little bit more than I have been over the past few years. What is the binder? Egg is the binder. See, notice I didn't say vegan. There's still egg in there. So, that egg really works as the binder, as the catalyst to hold everything together. Move you out of what culinary school? I'm making regular cookies. No dietary anything about me. So, I did not go to culinary school. I started off in the dish pit and worked in the dish pit for a month, and I was like, wow, this sucks. Like, I don't want to, like, this part of the job really fucking sucks. I don't want to do it. So I just, every time I got my dish pit caught up, I would pop out and, like, ask the line guys, like, hey, you know, can I help you guys build nachos? Like, you know, can I drop some wings for you? Can I, you know, do you need any water? Like, I was just kind of that annoying kid that always popped out and was like, hey guys, can I help? And that's how I got out of the pit and got on the line. And everything just kind of escalated from there. But especially in Montana, you know, once the recession hit, you know, back in like 08, 09, I couldn't find a job anywhere. Like, I was doing granite and marble right out of high school, doing countertops, and then I couldn't find anything. Just giving our cookies a flip. just gave our cookies a rotation. Remember what I said, you know, the key to cookies is you cream together the butter and sugar before anything else. Alright, cup and a half AP flour. Now also the trick when you're measuring out flour is you don't want to pack it. You just want it to be kind of loose. No real anything in there, no pressure. Alright, Moogie, good night. It was nice seeing you. Thanks for stopping in, and I really do. I hope to see you in the future. It'd be awesome. Adding a cup of oats to that. Call those done. Yuki, I don't think you gotta wait for Christmas to make Christmas cookies. I think you just make Christmas cookies and then eat them. I mean, I feel like that's a win-win. Don't you? Doesn't everybody? Right? I'm just saying. Yuki. It's never a bad idea just to make cookies. Alright, what I'm going to do is, wow, my drawer is malfunctioning. I'm just going to lay out some wax paper. right here. I mean, really, when is sweets ever a bad idea? All right. We're going to give those another minute. Just one more minute. I'm actually going to pop out of frame for a second. And I'm back. Yeah, I agree, Yuki. The doctor says sweets aren't always a good idea, but I disagree with him. Don't need a doctor to tell me that sweets are bad. Alright, so these kind of ran together on themselves. We're just going to let those cool down. That's fine. We're gonna let these go for another few minutes. Let's set a timer. While those are going, I'm actually going to finish eating my dinner. Now, if you've never done like a sweet potato hash, I suggest you try it because it's absolutely delicious. And I guess technically it's not sweet potato, it's yam. But I prefer yams over sweet potatoes anyway. It's absolutely delicious. So one of my goals here in the next few weeks is to actually make some background music. Sweet potato hash. I made the sweet potato hash browns. Um, earlier in the stream, we made homemade hash browns. And the key is you bake some potatoes and then put them in the fridge, let them cool, and then you cut them in half and grate them on a cheese grater when they're cool, and then you have the homemade hash browns. Alright, we're just going to go ahead and pop these out. Rat meow. We're going to let these kind of set for a minute. I'm gonna be off screen for just a second, putting some dishes away and getting everything organized. Now, the only downside to cooking is having to do dishes and having to do cleanup. That's never fun. We're just going to get rid of this one. Kind of have a feeling that the brown sugar I used was not quality enough. It was kind of cheaper, kind of grainier. I kind of have a feeling that's why our cookies aren't as great as they normally are. I think we're gonna have to do a cookie stream time revisit. Let's give these ones a try. We'll make a couple. We'll bake off a couple of these and see how they do. If these turn out similar, then I know it's that brown sugar, and we will remedy that situation next time. All right, we're just going to let those bake up. While those are baking, I'm going to start doing some dishes just to make cleanup that much easier on myself. Want to eat those cookies. They are going to be delicious. They're going to be tasty regardless. So All right. So got some dishes done. We're gonna check on those guys. Those guys are doing just fine. And we're just gonna keep on doing dishes while we wait for cookies. I drew my character Cuddles eating cookies today for Inktober. That's awesome. I actually went back and watched a couple of your VODs, and I really, really like your style of art. Like, give the camera a little twist so you guys can actually see me doing dishes. This is the glorious part of stream that nobody really gets to see. Is all the cleanup afterward. But since we're waiting on cookies, I figured may as well start cleaning. Alrighty. Slowly but surely getting everything knocked out. we're just going to give those a rotate. Let that go for another 5-6 minutes. All right, let's look. You know, it didn't rise up that much, but these are not bad. They got a nice crispy ring, and they're nice and soft and ooey gooey in the center. In fact, I'm going to take one of these to Cakes Riley right now. Too gooey. Alright, so that was a little gooey. You know, they're really... It just kind of goes to show, you know, with perseverance, you can overcome things. You know, Cakes has issues with wheat and dairy, but, I mean, obviously, we're still making cookies. We're still having fun. We're still eating good food. And that's kind of the fun thing about cooking, is learning and figuring out ways to, you know, cheat the system. Especially if you can have fun cooking at home. Alright, I'm going to step off to the side for a minute. I like baking. I am actually a terrible baker. I do not have the patience for baking. Obviously, I'm just sitting here pacing. I wish I could paint. I don't paint. Unfortunately, I can't do it. I've tried, and I don't have the knack for it. Also, pro tip, save containers. Wash them out. Use them for storage. Just put a little piece of tape on top of it marking what it is, and you have yourself a good storage container. like I said, if you're not going to wash a dish right away, at least soak it, because then, like I said, it's that much easier to clean when you come back to it. Baking is one of your favorite things to do with your mom? That's awesome. Alrighty. Yeah, these ones didn't rise as much as well. And like I said, I think it's because of that brown sugar. I used really, really cheap brown sugar. And, you know, that can really play into how things turn out. That's not bad, right? That's a good looking cookie. I think eventually what I'm going to do is I'm going to have some friends on stream, and we're going to kind of go through like their favorite dishes and through their expertise. But with that, I think I'm going to call it for the night. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and next week, I'm not quite sure what we'll do next week, but we'll be back again with something new, something fun. Like I said, hit the Discord link if there's anything you want to see, anything you want to do. Just let me know, and we'll work it into the rotation. But again, thanks everybody, and I'm gonna go ahead and call it a night. So good night, everyone. I will see you next Sunday.